Rise and shine, my little grape leaf. You're greeting a vibrant Mediterranean sun, freshly 18 years old in ancient Athens. The year is 329 BCE. Whereas some get the luxury of sitting on marble steps, learning the sciences of man and mind, you have been chosen by Athens to become an Ephebe. Plainly put, you're a discarded dish rag of a man, thrown into a state-sponsored military training group for teens. Here, you and your bewildered brethren learn to fight, to suffer, and, if you're lucky, to avoid entering the gates of Hades too soon. You rise stiff, sore from your cot on the burnt sienna ground, realizing the communal tent where you and 5 other boys sleep is empty. That means you missed breakfast. You rush to the ration line. Mealtime isn't ceremonial here. You get a daily ration of whatever fortune allows. The night before, you heard there might be cheese, a real delicacy here. It's highly unlikely you get any now. Everything is first come, first served, and you are at the bottom of the totem pole. So, you learn to make the best out of the worst. Weathered wooden swords that splinter at a moment's impact, paper-thin, feathered-stuffed cots that feel like you're sleeping on a slab of stone, and daily food rations that are barely edible. Yuck! All you managed to scrape for the day was 1 piece of barley bread so brittle it could be brandished as a blade, 2 figs, and a small handful of olives. Happy Hunger Games. You hurry to catch up with your fellow Ephebes, anxiously pushing towards the front to be seen by superior officers. The more recognition you get from them, the better your conditions might become, and maybe, someday, you could be in a position like theirs. Gulp. Maybe you shouldn't have made your eagerness so obvious. A snarky side-eye from your captain meets your gaze. Don't be late again, he says. Some trainees are faster, stronger, better equipped, and have been doing this longer than you. It's a Kerberos eat Kerberos world here. Rivalries are inevitable when you mix testosterone and hormones with nowhere to put them but battling and bullying. Mud in your sandals, snakes placed under your blanket, and sneers that slice sharper than spears, all part of daily life here. It doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Those who can't make it are never seen again. You've spent 2 years learning to be a hoplite, the famous heavy infantry of Athens. The military believes in tough love, mostly the tough part. You drill with spears and shields, practicing phalanx formations until your arms feel like overboard noodles. From Helios' rise till Helios' set, day after day after day. There are a few lucky days, when you're not being treated like a human punching bag by your peers or drill sergeant. You haul stones to build barricades, learn the geography of Attica, pick up snippets of other tongues, or recite battle tactics. Nothing says bonding like shared misery. Despite the hazing, in the rare afterglow after study and exertion, you and your peers look at one another and realise you are one. A team. A murderous drill force gaining the wisdom to conquer foes, not just for your own survival, but for the betterment of Athens and all who dwell within. Concepts like critical thinking, democracy, law, and punishment are backbones of a more civilized society focused on equality, education, and culture. You're preserving and defending all this for future generations, not just in Athens, but across the world. Your actions will create a prosperous perpetuity for all over the world. Time passes and you're deemed worthy to be deployed. You've overcome the odds and the bullying and you excelled in training. As a hoplite, you don't have sovereignty, but you're no longer a turd on the bottom of someone's boot. You're a foot soldier, quite literally. You're trusted to stand on the outer flank, which means you'll be the first to take impact, but it also means you're strong enough to withstand a fierce assault. Your eyes are sharp. You've honed discernment and marching in step with your fellows. You focus on keeping them safe. One spicy summer day, on patrol near Anatolia, you notice something wrestling in the brush. Too big to be a rabbit, too small to be a predator. You watch, eyes narrowed, waiting with bated breath. Aha! What do we have here? You proclaim, vivacious as wildfire. You've caught a Persian spy. Not just any spy. You can tell by the glittering jewels on his curved blade that he is a favourite. To earn such a blade, speckled with gems for every enemy he's betrayed, he would have had to earn the attention of Darius III, King of Persia. You throw the spy before your commanding officer and get the first compliment you've ever received. Good work, he nods. That morsel of praise feels like a feast on Olympus, with the gods themselves cheering. The adrenaline of battle isn't even as great as what you feel in this moment. This clever act garners you a promotion. You're moved up the ranks to Lokagos, a captain of sorts. Higher-ups have noticed your skill and commitment. But promotion doesn't come without new challenges. Your company is marching towards Issus. You can feel it in the angry air, metallic and ferocious. A war for the ages is about to ensue. You stare into the night sky, wondering if this wine, this meal, might be your last. You've only just begun to taste success. Is it all for nothing? Are the gods cruel? Whose side are they on? What is the point of everything? You try to sleep, but restlessness gnaws at you. Your steel is sharp, as is your mind. But in war, all it takes is one step for everything to fall apart. The entire day feels like a year. Every hour a month. Sensational and savage. Brutal and bloody. Somehow you're still standing. You took hits, but since the promotion, your armor has been improved. You stare over a sea of bodies, some clinging to life by a single breath, some already on their way to the other side. Blood, breath, and broken bodies. A barbaric ballet beyond words. You begin to limp back towards camp to seek medical help, and then you hear a groan from under a horse. You can't tell who it is, but they're alive. You pull them up and over your shoulders. Limping, sore and injured, you manage to get one of your fallen friends back to camp. Days go by as wounds are treated, but dysentery dances through the survivors. Some live through the battle, but fall to disease. Somehow, you got lucky. You there, come with me. You're wanted in the Strategos' tent. You gulp. You enter a tent of crimson and gold, uncertain of what might happen next. Soft eyes meet yours and your shoulders begin to relax. It's the eyes of the man you pulled from under the horse. It turns out he's a very high-ranking general, one who has personally served Alexander the Great in many victories. I owe you my life, he says, and though there can never be a price put on such a gift, I wish to repay you. There's that dopamine again. You are bestowed generously. Lands, a large pay increase, horses, better weapons and armour, improved sleeping accommodations, and possibly the best gift of all, the rank of Taxiarchos. When you were a scraping kid of 15 begging for crusts of bread, you never would have imagined this. You make a great offering to the gods that night. They have chosen to bless you and you can never repay them enough. You raise a glass at the altar where you placed your sacrifices. Thank you, you whisper. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm grateful you've chosen me. Candlelight devilishly dances with its shadows. The smell of herbs and the soft pluck of a flute fill the air. A pinch, sharp, tiny like an old woman's sewing needle pricks your neck. You look around. Your eyes scan the room. Again, you feel it on your arm. Still, you see nothing. Your eyes can spot assassins in the brush, but they can't find what's bothering you now. With the coast seemingly clear, you lay your head down on the softest bed you've ever known, under a blanket that feels like a cloud. You rest easy for the first time in what feels like ages. Morning comes and he's not kind. You feel cold, your muscles ache, your mind moves in molasses. You rise and shrug it off as a casualty of war. It's time to ride back to a home you haven't seen in years. As you mount your horse, dizziness like never before overtakes you. You've stood shoulder to shoulder in 80 pounds of bronze facing Spartan spears and Persian arrows. You've watched comrades fall by the hordes to disease and famine, gone days without food or water, but you've never felt this strange weakness. You try to write it off as fatigue, and you and your men push onward. What you don't realise, because of the error, is that you can survive most physical adversities of the battlefield, but not this unseen foe. The pinching you felt was a female mosquito. Like many who came before you, she left a little gift. A gift that plagued the ancient world so immensely that we actually have no idea how many suffered and saw their untimely end. Malaria. Weakness, hot cold flashes, headaches, these are all early signs of the disease taking its toll. And without modern medicine around, which won't be invented for many millennia, you're a goner. Your hands quiver and, like a boulder tumbling from a cliff, thunk. You fall from your horse, dead weight and shallow of breath. Last night's victory feast hurls out of you as if it were day-old fish sticks. You're taken to a travelling medical tent, but your destiny is already written in stone. Within a few days, you become anemic and start to show jaundice. What a sense of humour the gods have, you wonder. You imagine them on Mount Olympus, eating ambrosia, laughing without ever knowing struggle. While every day is a day of joy for them, you pine for exaltation. Your grueling, lonely trials, close calls, bullyings, flaming arrows, defying odds, all to be brushed aside